What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. It's on the left side here. We have Brandon Despia going up against Memento. We are playing Memento on the right side. We're back at it. This is going to be the Fiendsmith version of the deck. Before we dive on in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn out a lot. We're on the road to 10K and you guys' support. We are going to be seeing Brandon Despia end up winning the die roll here, so they're going to be able to choose who's going to go first. And their first action is going to look like it's going to be a copy of Lubellion, which is going to let them search their deck. This is going to be a 60-card Brandon build. I did talk to the person playing it after the event. They are playing a 60-card. They don't have exactly all the cards just yet. No thrusts, no double quests, so it's going to be a little bit different. They're going to activate the Lost from the hand. I think they are playing 2 Lost, perhaps. Then we will summon out a copy of Cartesia. So it's going to be a really good card, and we are thinking of it. They're going to activate the effect of the Cartesia, and we do opt to Veiler this. Now, a lot of times, it's not going to be that good, but I was afraid that they had the copy of Albaz in the hand, which is going to hurt me a lot more. So that's why I chose to Veiler this, because I know I wouldn't be able to Veiler anything else. And like during their turn, they won't be able to summon out again. So I wanted to kind of do it that way, or during our turn, I should say, they should be able to summon out again. So then they go for the Sorenir, banishing the Veiler. I wish it was an Imperm, but it was not. And then they end up tagging out for the Lubellion, dumping the Retribution, and then that's going to be kind of it for them. So now they're going to be forced to only into 1 draw off that Branded Loss, and they won't get Granganol, for example, sending the copy of Albion, setting up into the in the end phase, going for a branded and red line. If they did have the Albaz in the hand, which they might have here. I guess I'll explain to you guys. We do summon out the attached Nushigu, and they take a second to read this, which means that they have not read a Memento card ever. That's going to be pretty important to note that if you're playing against a Memento deck, this deck is all gas. If you don't know what the cards do, you're going to be overwhelmed by it. We do see them chain Cartesia using the Lubellion and the Albaz to go up into an Albion. Then we're going to be able to search for a Mercurier here as well. So we are going to kind of give us a Monster Gate, as well as we're going to be using the Albion to go up into our copy of Boral Furious Dragon. So having also a pop on the field as well, which is quite nice. So we managed to get 2 interruptions in this way with just a Cartesia, but everybody going to use those interruptions correctly is a problem. The deck is all gas, so not knowing when to pop the cards can be extremely crucial. They're going to chain the Boral Furious on the effect of the Attached Nushigu. We do have a copy of Bone Party, which means we can tag out, avoiding that dodge. The card still dies off Boral Furious because it does save them, and we get to we essentially go plus. And this also allows us to summon out a copy of Horn Dragon, which can let us dump even more cards. And if we had a Memento on the field, with maybe a chain of a Sleepy there, we can maybe blow up some multiple cards on the field as well. But we are going to choose to go for the Horn Dragon there, which is going to get immediately destroyed off of the attached Nushigu. And then we're going to dump the Mace, a Sleepy, and a Gatic. Then Gatic will be able to bring itself back out onto the field, and they ask what they do, so I had to explain to them. They're going to negate that with a Mercurier there. I don't think necessarily that was the correct play. I would have most likely negated the on-summon effect, because if we have a way to get it back, which we always are going to have to with the field spell and the Twin Dragon, we are going to be able to get the effects to be able to add back, which is all they really care about. We do proceed the normal summon out the Goblin, so we had a normal summon as well with a Attached Nushigu and Goblin in the hand. That's a very nice combo, especially with a Bone Party being able to dodge. We do go Goblin effect to send the Combined Creation as well as Diffusion. This is going to allow us to summon out the Combined Creation, then pop it with the Fusion. Now, these are not normally plays you see all the time, but we're going to be knowing we're dumping more cards to the graveyard. Therefore, we want to have a way to summon out a body. We already have used our Gatic, so it's going to be kind of hard for us to summon out a body. We can't dump the Acheron, and there's nothing unless it summons from the graveyard. So we go for that there. We're going to activate the effect to destroy. I know we have 2 cards left in the hand. One of them, I believe, is Track, and I don't recall the other one. So then we go Fusion, Destroy, to search for Fusion, and the Combined Creation needs to be destroyed for that. Yeah, we do. Okay, we do that. And then we activate a Fusion here, and that's going to allow us to use the Acheron in the hand as well as the Gatic in the graveyard, going up into our Twin Dragon. Twin Dragon can now destroy itself to search for 2 cards. And we're able to summon out the Acheron in the next chain here. We're going to search for a Sleepy as well as... I don't even know what you search for here. I don't think it really matters. We have normal summoned. We normal summoned the Goblin. We just kind of want any name. It doesn't necessarily matter which one we add here. We've used Goblin, we haven't used Mace, but we're not going to find a way to summon out Mace. So we go for, and we do bring out the Acheron off of the Twin Dragon here, not even activating the effect so we can get it later on in the turn. We go Sleepy effect now to summon itself out, then activating the effect of Fuse, and we fuse all three into the combined creation. So we actually opt to keep the Acheron effect in the graveyard because we can use it later on to bring it back out, and then it'll be a free pop. Rather than, we are going to be linking it away right now, and we want to keep the effect of, we don't want to use a Twin Dragon, so we might as well use it. We're going to be dumping the 3 cards here, including the extra deck one. We do then banish it, of course, to let us search out for the field spell, and we dump a copy of Gaddock. This is going to be so when we pop a card with the combined creation on the field, or the Creation King on the field, we'll be able to summon back out the Gaddock and get the search effect with that Mentolian City Land, or whatever it's called. So we're going to go combine Creation King, pop, and then we're going to be activating the field spell to summon out, as well as the Acheron to summon out here. And we're going to go up for Acheron as well as the Gaddock, or a Witch. We can go for Witch because we have not used Witch's effect to search yet. So it's going to give us another search, which can be the second Sleepy, which is why I play it, as well as perhaps even the Mace that we were talking about. So now we search for the Mace here, and then we can actually destroy the Acheron with the Angel Witch here to summon out the Gaddock, which is also going to let us add back the Bone Party or the Memento Fusion off of the Acheron here. So then we go Sleepy, add back, as well as Acheron, add back from the Banish. So now we just added back both spells in one chain. Kind of crazy when you can do that. I think this card's I like this deck so much. I think these decks, the way the deck plays is just so cool, being able to add itself back and stuff like that. Now we do activate the Track, which is going to be our last card in the hand. Sending the Lurie, summoning with the Lurie, and now we can go full Feast with combo as well here, going for a Requiem, and then we're going to go up into a Lacrima. Lacrima can then dump the Engraver here. And I believe we should have a way to get Game, or pretty close. We go into a Sequence. Sequence effect's going to be putting back, allowing us to summon out the Desiree here, and we did misplay. We should have put back the Lacrima in the graveyard and left the Requiem in the graveyard there, so we can actually equip it to the Desiree. We do go for an SP, and then we're going to be equipping it, and then we're going to go up into the combined creation here, putting back all 5. And they asked, that's not once per turn. And I was like, it doesn't even activate, dude. It just happens. So we put back all 5 to summon itself out. And this is exactly 79 damage on board through the Cartesia. So definitely a misplay on our part. We should have kept that Requiem in the graveyard, which can allow us to equip it to the Desiree, giving us an additional 5 or 600, which would have been enough for game. So we leave them down to 79, leaving them at 100 life points left, giving them another turn, but they're not going to be able to do anything. We have an Omni Negate, an SP, Combined Creation, as well as a Mace, and essentially insane follow-up. Whenever they activate a card, we can bring back the Creation King. We have the Fusion effect, as well as a Bone Party, and we are just absolutely cooking. So we don't even have to use the set from the graveyard effect. They do activate the Cartesia to add back to the hand. On resolution, we activate the Combined Creation to summon out the Creation King, and now we have a pop once again. They do get to search for Branded Fusion off of the Albion, but I don't believe that's going to be enough. We also see High Spirits being drawn off the top, and High Spirits in a kind of grind game isn't going to be the best. Now, High Spirits with with Cartesia can send you Granganol, but we're not going to be doing that much summoning during their turn. So they ask us what they kind of see. You see in Spot 2, Omni Negate, a Pop 2, a Mace Snatch Steal, and then we know Bone Party, as well as a Fusion, and they just admit defeat knowing that the game is going to be lost. So their opening hand didn't look the greatest, with 2 Albaz, Cartesia, and Lost, but they still ended up making a really competent board. I actually like the deck quite a bit, how they ended on that stuff. When you get Veiled on your Cartesia, which is kind of your only play, being able to send Retribution to the graveyard, as well as set up a Monster Negate, as well as a Pop, is quite nice. A lot of times on other deck bricks, they get to set up absolutely nothing. So it's kind of cool how we saw them do that, especially during your own opponent's turn, letting them play during both turns. That's why I really like Cartesia. It has like that interaction where you can play through your opponent's turns, and it kind of gives you more of a bit of like a control, especially with Quem. Like Quem's concept of like if something just leaves the extra deck, you get to trigger this, bring it back out, is absolutely insane. I love that kind of game style in Yu-Gi-Oh! But looking at their deck, we do see the Patchwork Engine. I mentioned that I personally would cut this. I don't think the Patchwork Engine's that good at all, honestly. I think the Patchwork Engine's horrible. But they are playing 60 cards, and they don't have all the cards that are available to them, so they want to have multiple ways of fusion summoning. I believe they're also playing 3 Cartesia, which is kind of important to note. A lot of players are playing 3 when you're on 60 cards, so seeing it a lot more often and being willing to lose it can be kind of crucial there. But we're going to be diving into Game 2. If you guys see any misplays, let me know in the comment section down below. We're always looking to learn. You know, nobody here is a professional YCS topper. Definitely not me. I'm trying to get better every day, but it is quite a journey. Especially when I have to hop from different decks to kind of give you guys content. Not everyone wants to see Memento over and over and over again. And I do enjoy playing other decks like Fire King Azamina. Was absolutely a blast when I ended up taking it to that locals. But we are diving into Game 2. Branded Despia is going to be forcing Memento to go first. And this is what I mean when I say that playing against a deck that you don't know what they do, you will make a misplay. So going first against Memento, you want to set up like Gimmick Puppet Lock. There's not much I can do through that. But letting me go first essentially is going to be an FTK. Because the end board that we end up setting up is going to be so powerful that even if the cards we side in aren't going to be the best cards for it, we're still going to be able to set up like an insane board. Now, you may not be able to face a trap card that's going to be set, but you're still going to have the option of having the Bone Party or the Fusion, which can just essentially be a blow up for 5. So we see us go for Attached no Shigu, dumping, and then we're going to go up into the Dark Blade, going up into an Anguish. So we have the Dark Blade plus the Attached no Shigu, going to be essentially the full combo with a beauty. We do go for a Witch, and they do chain a Sorenir there. So hitting one of the Bestials in their hand, not going to be the greatest. It's going to be very unfortunate for us because we do lose access to Goblin now. If you weren't playing the Fiendsmith cards, you could opt to play 2 Goblin and play the Goblin Biker Grand Breakout, but we are not. So then we go for the Horn Dragon, then we end up going for another track, and Lurie summoning itself out. And I want to mention that I'm only playing 1 track. I don't know how I always see this card. We're going to go for the Requiem here, and then Requiem's going to be tagging out into a Lacrima. Lacrima can then dump the Engraver once again. And we are kind of back on the shenanigans here. So I think we have an Engraver in the hand, because I looked at the copy of Track, because I know it has a Fusion Summon effect. But I didn't know if it said like Fusion Summon using Fiendsmith cards on your field. That would be kind of cool if it did say that, because you could use these spell and trap cards, but it does not say that, so you cannot. We have 2 cards left in the hand here. We're going to go up into a Cross Sheep, and then we're going to be putting back to summon out the Engraver. Then we're going to be equipping the Requiem, and then we can go up into a Princess, which is then going to trigger the Cross Sheep, allowing us to bring back out, I'm going to be assuming the Mace. Mace can then destroy itself, allowing us to then search our deck, and we search most likely for a copy of Memento Fusion, yeah. It's going to allow us to kind of Fusion Summon now, putting back 3 of any card. You know, we're going to put back the Goblin, or put back Mace, Sleepy, and Tatsu no Shigu. We can't put back Goblin because it is banished. We're going to go for the Combined Creation here. Combined Creation is now going to dump 3 cards from our deck, dumping itself from the extra deck, as well as the Gatik and the Combined Creation himself. We're then Gag's going to summon itself out, activating the effect, allowing us to add back the Fusion. And then we're going to be banishing to let us search for the field spell here. And we can go pop, but I think we ended up making a misplay here. It kind of seems that way. We link 2 up into an SP, banishing the Sorenir, and then we just set 1 card and pass turn on this, because I don't have enough mental names to summon out the big guy here. Leaving 2 cards left in hand. I mean, we do have a double pop, which then can bring back out the Gatik, adding me another card to the hand, and then also allowing the Mental Infusion to now be able to use from the graveyard. So there is lots of options that we can do. Like, it's not a bad end board, it's just not like the optimal end board. But hitting the Sorenir at one of the best times is pretty crucial. I'm sure there could have been something a little bit better that I ended up doing. So I explained to them what the end board is. It's a pop 2 and then the SP, and then you choose to go branded opening in the draw phase, sending a Retribution. So their hands already not looking the craziest. You do have a good send off Retribution. We summon out the 1 copy of Quem. Quem can then dump from the deck, and this is going to kind of indicate what they have in the hand. So dump a copy of Albaz here, which leads me to believe that we have a Cartesia. We then proceed to special summon out Cartesia in the main phase, and this is a very clear tell sign. We are going to be reading the Cartesia, making sure that it does not, as long as it says you have to fusion summon. So that was kind of the important part of this. We're going to go on summon, activate the effect, targeting both of them there, as well as both of our Memento cards, and we're hoping they have to chain Cartesia to this. So that we chain the SP. Now we're going to activate the Cartesia. We then opt to chain the SP. And you mentioned it has to banish both. It has to still fusion summon, and they do opt the fusion summon. They have the Aluber in the hand, which they wanted to normal summon, going up into a Quertus, and that's going to just be game. They admit defeat, realizing they have a loss. Yeah, you definitely should not have chained Cartesia to that, unfortunately. But we wanted to get rid of the SP. We wanted to be able to kind of force it out there, because if we would have just let them normal summon out the Aluber, we could have just chained SP to it, and then potentially have the Twin Dragon to be able to search and stuff like that. Not being able to search for a negate, but still being a little bit too overpowered. I feel like we have definitely learned that, Brand Despia does not want to let Memento go first. But regardless, hope you've been watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, have some more content like this. Stay safe, and peace.